Hey folks, welcome back to the Tractorfella channel, where we don't do a whole lot with tractors and have constant amounts of traffic. On today's episode, we're going to take our Chonda powered super cool quad and figure out why the heck it lost spark. Alright. Some of you may have seen the other episode where we had this little guy in here and it wouldn't start. And the reason it wouldn't start was kind of weird. It suddenly lost all of its valve flash. There was none. And it had no compression. And we tried to melt the starter in the process of getting it fixed. That just burned up the starter. So if you haven't seen that episode, it's a fun one. Now the reason we're back this time is because it won't start again. But this time, I am fairly certain we have lost spark. So let's dive in, have a little fun, see what we can figure out. Hey, did I show you where I mounted that light? Has a nice convenient on-off switch right here too. There we go. Hey, look at that. Step one. Let's verify the customer concern. I don't even know if this has any juice. Guess we'll find out. I'm gonna go with no. Surprisingly not surprising. That's what I get for not taking care of batteries. We'll bring over the dinosaur charger. It's a fairly new battery. I told myself all winter, you know, you should probably go out there and disconnect that battery and bring it in for the winter. We'll just borrow the clamps for the battery charger. Confuse the heck out of the battery charger. Okay, let's try again. Thank you, Titan. I think this is the problem. This is like a inhibit. So if your kid's whiling out, you just kill power to it. But I used to be able to hear an audible clicking noise. Maybe we have to turn it on? No. I think that's our problem. Let's see if we can crank now. And we'll pull the choke for kicks. And go. Nope. I'm actually very surprised that the starter is... I'm not going to say anything. We know how that goes. I'm really happy that that last scene turned out so nice and dark. Customer concern has been verified. Thank you, Titan. Let's pull the plug out of here. Ouch. Wet. Probably because it's not sparking. All right. Let's hit the go button. Ignition on, brake, and crank. Nothing. All right, I stole the plug from Papa's saw, and go. Nope. Speaking of Papa's saw, holy moly, I'm starting to wonder if it's oiling too much. Well, I filled the fuel tank and the oil tank at the same time. We'll have to see how much oil is gone. I believe with the older generations it was top off the oil every time you run out of gas. So they should roughly be consumed at the same rate, which is a lot, but you know, that's what they did at the time. You know, one thing I've never actually done is ohmed out a spark plug. So let's take this cute little meter that I bought, and yes, I did just refer to it as cute, and let's ohm out the spark plug. It'll be the green line at the top. 0 is all the way to the right. Whoops, we can adjust it with the little red knob on the left. There we go. So it should be the top to the center electrode. There we go. What do we have? 4.5 ohms. And then ground strap to the outside. It's pretty obvious. It should be, if I can find a clean spot on here. This meter may not have enough gusto. Nope, it's just dirty. You know what? Cute, but may not be too useful. Okay, round 2. Maybe I'll just wedge it in there. Yeah, it just wasn't getting good continuity. Now while it's wedged in there, it should read up here too. Is the center of a spark plug supposed to have that much resistance? So that other meter was reading 4.5 kilo ohms. This is almost 5 kilo ohms. All right, let's try it with this mosquito. No, it is too early for you. All right. case to ground strap. Good. Okay, so apparently they're all over the place because they're dirty. And then tip to electrode. Yep. Okay. 5,000 ohms. Apparently that's normal. Learn something new every day. All right, so let's do a little exploration. You remember how I said these things vibrate like crazy? If you watched the last episode, they vibrate like crazy. This is broken, which holds in this module, which is either some type of controller or it is our interlock with the key switch. This is broken. That holds our what appears to be ignition coil. Ignition coil? Come on. How about starter relay? Which is also all taped up for reasons unknown. We're going to have to look at that. Hercules, you're a little close. Little bit close. Yes, you are. So we do know our starter solenoid works. I believe that's what this is. We can test it by... Okay, helicopter. All right, ignition on. Click the starter button, and I'm just going to hold on to this so I can feel it click. Yep. This is our starter relay. This works very well. I'm guessing this is our problem. What does that say? S-A-I-N? S-I-A-N? Cyan? We have lights. We have some more harness stuff up here. There's that, which is going nowhere. All right, how about I poke around for a little bit and then I'll bring you back when I find something exciting. That back there looks like a solenoid as well. Maybe that's our remote control. Let's go over there. So what doth we have? Oh no, that's our coil. Dang it. You know, I'm curious if I can find a wiring diagram for this and just jumper out whatever pins are used to interrupt ignition. Because do we really need an ignition interrupt? We're not driving this thing to town. Well, I mean, not today. So I did a little research on this little guy, and there's definitely not one iota about what it is. Did a little YouTubing, and this is the ignition module, CDI, I believe they call it. Our interrupt is apparently under the seat. So let's go ahead. I'm going to plug this back in. Let's pop the seat off and see what we can find.
Oh, he's such a good helper. Yes, he is. Such a good helper.
Fetch it up. Get your sticks out of there. Come on. All 6 shards of them. Goodness, there's enough slobber on that seat. I have no idea how the seat comes off. I think it's already broken. Let's see back here. Oh, there's a release. How convenient is that? Oh, jeez, look at that thing. It's just junk plastic. It's disintegrating. Wow. Okay, well, whatever. It still holds my big butt. Okay, I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Why is it so hard to get all the plastic out of here? I'll show you what I'm looking at. Thank you, Titan. Very helpful. All right, so right down there, back in the background, where my finger is, that is the interrupter module, from what I understand. So how to access it without ripping apart all the plastics? Oh, that thing's got a lot of wires going to it. Somebody said you just unplug it and it works. I'm not sure I believe that, but we'll give it a shot. Is it just stuck on there with goo? Oh, it's zip tied on there. Of course it is. Please don't run into the people, Titan. And success. Zip tie snipped. Double-sided sticky tape, the only way to go. Again, I can't get these plastics off of here without taking way too much stuff off, so we're just going to go ahead and do some harness routing deletion here. And, well, listen to it. Sounds pretty healthy, doesn't it? This must be the antenna. You guys see what I'm doing? I hope so. Honestly, Titan. So 3 wires. Red, I'm guessing, is power. Black, I'm guessing, is ground. And yellow, well, I have no idea what yellow does. Reroute. Rerouting. In 100 feet, do a U-turn. Let me show you what I'm looking at here. So here's our double sticky-sided tape module. Oh yeah, that thing sounds really healthy. And our connector's right down there. So I'm just going to do the squeeze and the pluck, and we'll see if that actually is going to fix the problem. All right, used my fingernail, was able to push the tab over, pull this off. We'll have to pull it apart and see what's going on. I'm curious if it's actually going to start sparking. I don't know. Let's let's try it out. How do you think that thing works? Well, it's obviously some type of solenoid, and it obviously interrupts spark. And if I had to guess, it just provides a ground to short out the coil. I don't know. I guess I'm just talking to myself here. Where is the most important tool in the garage? I put it back. What a good boy. You ready? You think it's gonna spark? Okay, ignition's on, battery's been charging, parking brake, run position, and go. Yeah, didn't think so. I'll try it on the carburetor where you can't really see. No, we got nothing. Is that sunlight too obnoxious? There we go, that's better. We'll just turn on a light. All right. I don't know which pins provide a ground and which pins provide a complete circuit. I guess I don't really understand what I'm talking about here. So we're going to rip it apart. Quality control my butt. Here. Quality control. Papa's saw. Yeah. Open up. Open sesame. Judd's guilty is always telling me I got to say the right phrases in order to get things done the correct way. I bet, you know what? I bet there's a screw holding this thing shut. Yep, there it is. Oh my goodness. Just got to put that melon to work sometimes. I know. It's hard to do. I'm kind of excited to see what's in here. I don't really know why. Okay. And behind door number 1, oh boy, that is broken. See that little guy? That little guy's not supposed to be hanging out doing nothing. What does what here? I'm sure I don't know because I'm not good with circuits. Something I'd love to learn, but I just have not learned. So there, I'm guessing, is the switch. At least I think it's the switch. So the antenna comes in over here. Ant. For antenna. Oh man, the rest are in Chinese symbols. So we get ant, and then we get China. Well, that's not very helpful. I'm sure red is power. I'm sure black is ground. Why is there a brown wire in here that goes nowhere? Brown wire, 1, 2, 3, 4 wires. And then out here we have 1, 2, 3. Where'd the 4th one go? Just hanging out? It's back here somewhere. Maybe we can just put this little guy back in his home. It's kind of wishful thinking. I don't even know where his home is. I don't even know what this little guy is. Is that a capacitor? JW Co. Vent. Oh, microfarads. So yeah, it's a capacitor. Someone can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, no. He went right there. Right in the middle. That makes more sense. There's a circle where he goes. We could try. Do you guys want to try? I kind of want to try. We could melt the solder. Push that baby in there again. Get it to work for a little bit until it vibrates apart again. And we're back for a new and wonderfully beautiful day. You know, I just realized the last time we let some youngsters go out on this thing, it came back with no taillight lens and no taillight. I'm a little irked about that. Anyway, let's open the blinds, shine some light on this beautiful day. And I'm thinking, I know, very dangerous, but I'm thinking I might have an idea on how we can try to jumper this first before we decide to try to fix the little remote control box, and maybe we can just get this thing to pop and make a little noise. Reflection in the glasses. All right, let's give it a shot. Just a quick summary of my thoughts. I'm guessing, because that's exactly what I'm doing, is guessing. We've already discussed red hot, black ground, yellow, questionable. I'm thinking that the yellow may be the signal wire to the coil, but it could be that that powers the CDI. And then if we ground it, it could be that that sends the coil straight to ground. So maybe if we jump hot to yellow on our pin configuration here, maybe we can get it to fire that way. But let's do some pinning out of the circuit first and see if we can figure out where these wires go on the quad itself. I have little friends here that would like to say hi.
This is hashtag my four-wheeler won't start. Please like and subscribe.
Very good. Okay, so what are we doing today? What we are doing is we have our interrupt here. I put it back together so that we can protect the insides for now, but we have cut a few zip ties and we have pulled out the connector here. And now we line up which wires go where. So we know black is on this side, red is in the middle, and yellow is on that side. What I would like to do is confirm that pin number 3 is our black wire, and that in fact goes to ground on the chassis. And there we go. Okay, so we know the black wire is in fact our ground wire. And if I had to guess, that means our red wire, which is pin number 2, is going to go to 12 volt power. So we're going to check the voltage from here to ground. I'm just grounding to the case right now. And we should have 12 volts, which we do. Actually, the charger was on it all night, so we have a little over 12 volts. So we have power, we have ground, and then we have the third mystery wire, which I'm guessing goes to either the ignition box over in the front or somewhere into the ignition key. And let's turn ignition off and see if the 12 volts goes away. Which it does. Key off, no 12 volts. Key on, we have 12 volts. Okay, so we know the key supplies power to the red wire on this connector. Here is my theory. That little switch, that little black switch that we looked at inside the box, my guess is when we hit that remote, whether we lock or unlock it, it either provides the CDI 12 volts at pin number 2, or it provides the CDI nothing, which is just ground at pin number 3, and kills the CDI. So what I want to do next is go over to that little module, and I want to see if we can find a black and white wire, and then I want to see if we can pin from here to the black and white wire over there. And if we have continuity, then I'm pretty sure we could jump this from pin 2 to pin 1, supply 12 volt or source voltage to the CDI, and then we could get spark. Okay, so here we are, back at our CD module. And you know what I see right off the bat? I see a black and white wire right there staring us in the face. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this black and white wire, which is the middle pin on the top there, and I'm going to run the other lead on my meter over to the black and white wire here, and we're going to test our theory. All right, black and white, hello. And we're going to the black and white wire here. What do we have? Oh my goodness, the theory is correct. I am extraordinarily excited right now. But what I did do is bring in the counterpart. So we're going to steal the CDI off of that one, and maybe we'll make sure it runs first. Yeah, let's do that. And then we'll pin it out and see what kind of output we're getting from the interrupter box. Oh, hey, check that out. Back to the vibration station here. These things just vibrate themselves apart. Okay, let's see if it fires. Fuel check. Can't tell. Let me get my match. Well, you know, I had a flashlight around here, and then a miniature human decided to borrow it, and it's gone. Nope, bone dry. Now, interestingly enough, I'm not hearing a click out of this one either. Nothing. And I know the keys are not reversed, because you got a pink heart and you got a red heart. Let's try the red just for kicks. Nope. And if I recall, I might have had trouble starting this one at the end of last year too. So maybe we have the same problem. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Choke is on, fuel is on, brake is on, kill switch is off. And go. Interesting. Bad switch? Okay, let's try it out. Interesting. We're going to back probe Miss Pinky's CDI, where we have our white, actually that's yellow, our yellow and black wire there, with the key in the run position, and we're going to see what kind of voltage we get. And we're going to go in the yellowish and black wire, and we're going to go to a ground nut or bolt somewhere, and we'll see if that works. And we're going to turn on ignition. Let's find another ground. Or I'm completely wrong. Do we have to crank to get voltage? No? Okay, so I was wrong. My theory is wrong. Let's see if any of these have power on them. Not a single one. So how does this module even get power? Okay, now that it's plugged in, let's back probe the one. Nothing. So you're telling me this box is supposed to control ignition, but it doesn't actually do it using power. Well, I'm completely confused. Alright, I've successfully removed the box from this one. So let's see, without the interrupter, if it'll magically run. What in the virtual world is happening here? I'm starting to wonder if these identical machines are not identical. Also, you're not going to believe this. Module off the other one. Things are getting weird around here, folks. And behind door number 2, no frickin' way. That is... What are the odds? Same exact failure mode. Different machine-based failure. Well, actually, there is no failure on the machine. It keeps running. Why? For my next feat, I thought that this was a spade connector because it had a nice little black tip to it. Well, it turns out that's just a piece of shrink wrap, and I just ripped the wire right off the coil, or coal, depending on where you live in the United States. So I'm going to have to strip that back and solder it back on really quick. So I'm going to do that. I got to tell you, I'm having a lot of fun with this episode. I hope you are too. It's not very often we get to go from the meat and the potatoes over to the vegetable side of things. You know, the meat and the potatoes, in my opinion, is more of the mechanical work. The fun stuff. I like the mechanical stuff, like, you know, changing out parts on Papa's saw in the last episode. Then I would say the vegetables are more like the stuff people don't like. You know, the electronic work. But, you know, diagnosing something, it really can be fun. You just got to find the right wires, see if the right wires are continuous. But, you know, you put me in front of a CDI module and then I just go cross-eyed. Alright, we're going to flux these babies up, make them conduct some heat. Always use way too much. Plugged in the soldering iron, waiting for it to get hot so we can get toast. This is ridiculous. I just bought a whole bunch of connectors. What the heck am I doing here? Alright, let's try this yellow guy. I have to cut off some of this ridiculous quantity of insulation on here. There we go. Yep, it'll fit. Actually, that's on there really good. Yay. Let's plug her in. Okay. Oh, that's a nice snug fit. I don't think this heat shrink is really going to shrink that well, but we can give it a shot. And the Berkling. Should work nice during the summer years. My goodness. Think before you speak, man. Yep, lit up no problem. Nice and hot. There we go. Okay. You guys want to take bets on whether or not that was the issue? I don't know. Let's see if we get spark. Ignition on. CDI module. Are we plugged in? We are plugged in. Kill switch is off. We're in the run position, rather. And go. Okay, well, I looked up a wiring diagram for these little monsters. We are correct. One pin goes to the CDI, one pin goes to power, and one pin goes to ground. That power is switched via key. So here's my theory, okay? The keyed power supplies power to the interrupter module. That power is not actually used to jump to the CDI. That power is used to power the interrupter module. That interrupter module, little switch in there, is normally open, so the CDI does not get grounded out. When you hit the lock button, it switches the interrupter module to a grounded state, so it grounds out the CDI, we lose spark, which is why when you disconnect it on this little pinky, it stays running because the CDI still does not have a ground to kill the power and kill the spark. which means we have one of two issues. One, we have a bad coil. Two, we have a bad CDI. Three, I said one of two issues, not three. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pluck the CDI from this one. We're going to plug it into this one. Hope it doesn't fry the CDI. And see if we get some exciting action. Because it makes you wonder, with this little cylinder bouncing around in here, did it cross a couple of pins it wasn't supposed to, send 12 volts to the CDI and roast it? I don't know. You are going to help me watch for smoke. Although you'd think this thing would be fused, right? That would sort of be the common sense thing to do. I don't see any smoke. Let's go see if we have spark. All right, cross your fingers. Ignition on. Maybe the kill switch is broken. And go. Okay, still nothing. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I am thrilled we do not have spark. Because that means our CDI module is not the problem. Let's go take a look at the kill switch. Okay, here's the harness for the kill switch. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wires. Good. Can we just pull this stinking thing apart? There's screws. It's our lucky day. All right, so here we are, 2 screws. Hopefully this will let us pull this apart. Yep, it's coming apart. Best day ever. All right, kill switch is gray and green. So we're going to find gray and green. We're going to pin it out and toggle the switch, see what happens. Gray and green appear to be the closest ones to us. Somehow we're going to hold them there. Okay, I think we're there. Flipping the switch. Dang it, it works. Ugh. All right, we're back on the pinky, and I would like to probe this because our CDI has no power, key on or key off. So we're going to key on, and I would like to see if one of these pins has 12 volts. If I had to guess, the red one should. Nope, 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 nope. Okay. So apparently the CDI doesn't actually get power, like ever. Which makes 0 sense to me. We'll get it figured out, folks, one way or another. All right, so you have to take my word for it. The coil is over here, and there's 2 wires going to the coil. And that harness runs up to this guy over here. Green wire, black wire. So we're going to disconnect this connector here, and we're going to check for continuity from here over to the coil. Okay, black wire is good. I can't really see what's going on. Let's pop the coil off. We're going to pull off this jam nut, or this lock nut here, and see what we can see. It's a 10 millimeter. Everybody's favorite. So here's what we're looking at. Green wire comes out of this little harness, which really doesn't look that good. It's kind of just pinched on here. And it looks like it grounds out to this metal tab. I'm going to sandwich it in here. Okay, I'm going to go touch the other side. Okay, green wire, here we go. Yeah. Okay, well, it's good. Dang it. Okay, next test. Green wire from the CDI to the green wire that goes to the coil. Lovely. Black and yellow. I believe there's the song about that. There it is. To black and yellow. Okay, so everything is checking out. The only thing left to check is the coil. So maybe we swap coils from one to the other. I don't know what the heck else to look at. Okay, so we checked the kill switch. Let's check the wires from the kill switch harness to the CDI. So the gray wire on the kill switch side goes to a black and white wire. And black and white wire, let's see here. Yay, how exciting. The other one was green. The green went to, well, what do you know? It's still green. Okay. Yellow. Let's try this yellow one. I don't know where the heck that yellow one goes. There's a blue wire. Let's check out the blue wire. 133 ohms. What does that go to? Well, we have both coils side by side. So let's start with, I'm guessing, I believe they call this the primary side of the coil, the ground. 9.35 kilo ohms. Old coil, 9.27 kilo ohms. Well, that seems pretty much spot on. Let's go green wire to ground. Good. There's our terminal. over to the black wire. Continuity, black wire, good. Green wire, good. So they test identical. I don't know. Grasping at straws. Let's plug this in, see if we get any action. All right, the other coil's on. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. Oh my gosh, I am at a loss. All right, the hemostats are now touching the spark plug hole to make sure that for some reason this bolt doesn't provide a good ground. So here we go. Let's see if I get shocked. 3, 2, 1. Are you kidding me? I had to look up where to find the frickin' model number on this thing. It's located back here. The heck? 3050? Is that what that says? Zoom in for me. Is that 3050J? What a terrible printing. Well, folks, I'm getting real close to throwing in the towel here. However, there is a possibility that the stator, which is located in that compartment right there, that's missing its cap, has a problem, because the stator is what's responsible for generating the spark. A couple other things I've done behind the scenes. I took a wire, I disconnected the coil, and I took a wire directly from the black and yellow, and I ran that directly to the black and yellow, leaving the ground completely unplugged, just in case for some reason we're getting a ground that we're not supposed to have. And same thing, no spark. I found a fuse back here that I checked, even though I knew nothing would work if that fuse was dead. And the fuse is fine. I checked it, it ohmed out perfectly. So the next step is going to be to remove all these bolts, pull these bolts out here, and then we're going to remove the footrest, and then we're going to remove the stator cover, and we're going to see if there's something back there. Yeah. Oh boy. This is, you know what? I don't even know what to say. I'll see you in a minute. I was thinking to myself, I feel like I've done this before, and I definitely have. It was when we ripped the starter off last time because we fried it. Or tried to fry it. Oh, are there nuts on the back? Oh my gosh. I probably said the same thing last time. Holy smokes. I think that had hillbilly Loctite on it. Hot? Ah, yes, hot. Get out of there. All right, and we're on to the 8mm emitter. And go. Hey, look at that. There's a grommet that holds this wiring harness in. We're just going to leave that behind. Nope, we're not. We're taking it with us. Okay, well, there's our stuff. Question is, what are we looking for? Guessing a broken wire. Looks like our pickup here, which is probably our trigger, has a little bit of debris on it. Well, I guess we can test each one of these wires. Yet again, we're going to pluck the harness off. Okay, well, here we go on our fun expedition. Okay, we'll start with the basics. Wire to touch point. Good. Red and black is good. How about purple and white? Oh, that goes up here inside of our mag pickup. I don't think that'll ground through. Oh, it does. Well, it goes through the pickup anyway. Okay, there's some continuity there. How about green? Maybe that just goes to ground. Yep. Okay, green is good. Yellow. Where do you go, yellow? Are you grounded to case too? Yep. Yellow's good. How about the white? Where does the white one go? Ah, I found it. White wire goes right over here. But it's coated. It's supposed to be coated. It's part of this copper winding here. I don't see an issue anywhere, unless it's actually broken. White wire here. Looks like it comes out here. There we go. Yep, okay. Every single wire in this stator has continuity. Boy, guys, I am at a loss. I am at a complete loss. Unless this trigger is broken. You know what we could do? My goodness, it's getting late. We could swap stators from one machine to the other. I have no idea what else we could possibly I mean, these ohm out. Figured we could try to run a piece of metal by the pickup. Yeah, it's picking up something. And we're back for another super mind-boggling day with this. Hey, look, new project. No, it's on its side because I was told it leaks if it's not on its side. So we'll explore that another day. So I've had a few days to non-stop think about what's going on with this thing. I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to check the signal from the magneto, or the stator, whatever you want to say, as I twitch while saying magneto. I want to check the signal from the magneto directly to the CDI box on both machines and see if we have a difference. The only thing in that diagram that I can tell that powers the CDI is the magneto. Everything else is like a kill switch or a dead switch, a dead I don't know what the heck you want to call it. A ground, an interrupt. So we're going to crank that other one and we're going to see what kind of signal we get out of it. And we're going to see if we have a comparable signal coming into the other CDI. Okay, we're going into it with enthusiasm and positivity. Yeah! Okay, so I don't really know what kind of signal to expect. So we're going to start with DC voltage. There's a blue wire on the CDI, which we are probed into right now. That is labeled L, which is supposedly line. And it comes from the trigger signal on the magneto. So let's see what it looks like as a voltage. Everything is on, ready to go. There is no spark plug. 0.12 volts, okay? We are probed just like the other side was. That's about what we saw on the other one. All right, let's go to the orange and black wire. That supposedly also goes to our magneto, but that is not on the trigger side. I think this is on the powered side. So let's see what kind of voltage we get here. Not a dang thing. Okay, check the voltage on the other one. DC voltage, and go. Oh, look at that. Interesting. Very interesting. Just to show you, not that you really care at this point. That is our red and black wire, which supposedly goes to the magneto side that is not used for triggering. When I say triggering, it's like a crank position sensor. So we had that little black square. I'll show you a picture like over here. We had that little black square inside the magneto housing here, whatever the heck you want to call it. That is used to tell the CDI when to fire a spark. It shows where the crankshaft is, and basically when it sees that pulse, that's when it triggers to send a spark. Now the red and black one is actually tied to the magneto coil itself. That's like the, I don't know if you want to call that the primary side of the coil, but it's generated through here. This is supposed to make the power to cause the spark to happen. So when you turn the key and it starts rotating the crankshaft, that magnet goes by your coil and starts to generate a field. Anyway, it creates a voltage, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, we are getting a voltage here. Roughly 20 volts DC. So let's go back to the other one again. There we have it. There's our red and black wire. And we're going over to the battery on the ground post, negative post, whatever the heck you want to call it. Now we're going to check our DC voltage again. Oh, now we're going to check our DC voltage again. Not a stinking thing. So the next question is our red and black continuous? Let's check continuity first. Let's find the red and black in here. We're going to check the red and black up here at the connector, and we're going to make sure we have continuity. I feel like I did this already, but we're going to check it again. Let's see what we have going here. I can't get to it without cutting yet another zip tie. Oh, and she's gone. Red and black right there, which comes over to straight up black. Keep shutting this thing off because it needs a battery. All right, let's see if we get any. Oh no, that's black with a red stripe. Okay, let's see if we get anything by probing the back side. We should have continuity here. Yeah, we do. Question is, when we wiggle it, does it go away? No, it doesn't go away. So we have continuity. Okay, starting to wonder if we have a bad hot side of the magneto. I'm glad we have two four-wheelers, because if we didn't, I would be up a creek and we wouldn't have a paddle. Or it would be at least, partially broken paddle. And go. Get out of there. One of these parts is not like the other one. Alright, so I found this battery, and I gave it a lick, but it wasn't very convincing, so we'll see how long this one lasts. Holy wind! Okay. Well, it's not dead. That's a bonus. So when I was measuring these, I was thinking to myself, aren't these supposed to have some resistance across them? Obviously this one's not. Unless we're just going from ground to ground. I can't tell. But I thought most coils were supposed to have some resistance. Anyway, this is from the front engine. This is from the rear engine in relation to the garage door. Rear being closer to the garage door. That ohms out the same as this. So here's our black and red wire on both coils. Let's do this again. I know we did this last time, but we're going to do it again. It's good. Black and red. Good. How about after the coil? Fascinating. Maybe what I was measuring was ground to ground by touching these posts. So I should be doing the end of the coil, 341.9 ohms. Yeah, so that must have been what I was doing. Oh, look at that. Our coil is open. Make sure I'm making good contact here. Why can't I hold on to this frickin' connector? It's a slippery one. Oh, well that's sad. We're good here, but the coil is dead. Would have caught that had I measured this correctly. We're going to do one last precautionary measurement. I'm going to make sure I get that probe way in there, nice and deep like. Nope. Nope. Oh, I could just go to ground, huh? Does the same thing. Measure 35 times before purchasing parts. Okay, let's pop this little coil winding off of here. I don't want that. Oh my gosh. Maybe it's Loctite. Loctot? Maybe it's Loctot. Holy criminy. Nope. We're running into trouble here. New screwdriver, bigger handle. And we're loose. Whew. Needed dat extra torque. You know, I do have impact screwdriver sockets. Probably should have considered using one. I'm going to feel that in my hands for a few days. Also noticing, I'm just finding these little differences. These screw heads are not the same size. Not that it really matters, but just noticing a few things. There's a little baby lock washer on there. I hardly believe that baby lock washer was actually doing anything. We're in wide view mode so we can see a little better, but there looks like there's either just corrosion. Yeah, it's powdering off right now. Probably just some corrosion in there. Let's see, is this one magnetic? Yes, it is. Helpful for once. Now, of course, it's going to be impossible for me to... New view. Alright, you know what? I got to figure out what was that. So I know I'm bouncing all over the place here, but I had a concern, and my concern was, before I start tearing that guy apart, is there something on this machine that's not exciting the magneto? Does the magneto, in fact, need some type of excitement to get it to go and generate the 20 volts that we're seeing on the other machine? So I put the other machine's mag on this one, and it's performing fine. So I hate to say it, but I think it's that winding. And because I need a little boost in morale, let's see if anything happens. Oh yeah. And because I need a little bit more of a boost, let's listen to it for a second. Let's hear it hum. Talk to us. Communicate. Let's start it. Yeah, didn't turn the fuel on. That's okay. Well, I guess now we, first of all, stop wasting battery. Second of all, see if we can find any defects with this, which is probably going to be highly unlikely. Smells like 89. Mighty fine. I'm guessing these are going to be in here with red Loctite. Okay, impact it is. Yep. Yep. I don't know about you, but I don't see a dang thing wrong with this coil. There's a shiny spot here, but I don't think that's... Nope, definitely not. That was like a piece of glue or something. There's a little bit of a tan-colored spot over here. Unfortunately, I don't really know what else to do about this, unless there's a possibility that this is broken here. I mean, that'd be sweet if it were broken here, because it feels soft, especially from me flexing it back and forth, but I really don't think that's our problem. Anybody out there got another set of hands? Just teleport on over whenever you get a chance. Yeah, so it's somewhere in the middle that's died. Guess we could rip this rubber stuff off. This rubberized coating. Need to get my chair. Alright. A little more comfy now. You guys feel free to pull up a chair too if you'd like. This is all like plasticized stuff. So I don't think pulling off this rubber is going to really help us very much. But like I said, what do we have to lose? Nothing. We got a junk coil. Such little teeny wires makes it virtually impossible to root cause and repair something like this. I mean, you could go wild and buy your own spool and rewire it, or recoil it, I guess, if you really wanted to get that ambitious. I would have to imagine... Can you see, is my hat in the way? Jeez, I hope not. We'll turn it backwards and go thug life. I would have to imagine you'd only go that desperate on something that doesn't exist anymore. This one looks connected as well. Let's just see if we can do copper to copper. Maybe it looks connected, but it's not. And you know, oh, that looks broken. Maybe, probably not, but maybe. Let's see, just because I want to try. Oh. Really? No frickin' way. Did we find it? Did we find the culprit? Okay, so it's broken at the winding is where it was broken. So that's gonna be a tough one. It broke right down in there. The question is, can we find some copper to just solder to? Solder these little baby wires back to their home. So it's down somewhere down in there. We'll just stab it. See how it comes out the other side. Yep, there it is. 0.7 kilo ohms. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to poke around, play for a little bit, and I will bring you back. No, I'm not going to do that. You want to stay and hang out? Stay and hang out. You want to skip ahead? Skip ahead. I need to renew these pretty badly. There we go. Hey, look at that. So now it's going to be nearly impossible for me to find a spot where I can tie the coil back into this soldered point. Well, let's just tear into it. Why not? Hey, have you seen my hook and pick set? I can't find it. Just so you know, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I'm just digging. Probably not the smart thing to do, but like I said, what do we have to lose? I'm hoping I can find like just one strand. Is this just protective, or is that actually the wire? Oh, no kidding. How lucky is that? Is this wire, or is this just protection? Let's find out. Let's just melt this guy a little bit and see what's on the inside. Nothing. That is strictly protective coating. Okay, so how many layers do I have to rip off before I can get to some wire? I guess we're going to find out, aren't we? Is that really just protective coating? I'm having a hard time believing that. It is. It's just... Oh, man. This could get messy. Oh boy, this is going to take a while. Okay, well, that took a undisclosed amount of time, which I will never divulge to anyone. In other news, if you're in the need for a vinyl hairnet, just send me an email, thetractorfella@gmail.com. Here is our little wire that you can barely see, which was connected over here. It had a loop on it, and it was kind of just taped there in place. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to take some sandpaper and clean up the outside so we can start conducting electricity through it, and I would like to check the resistance across here. Alright, sandpaper. We have some 400 grit, because around here we throw hunnets. No, we do not. We maybe throw nickels at best. That's about the end of that. Okay, Aaron, stop talking. I'm keeping my hopes high. I probably shouldn't, but I am. Oh, there we go. I'm starting to see some uncoated wire at the very end there. Oh yeah, now we're in business. What a great day. That's probably good enough. Let's go ahead and sandwich this guy right here. Okay, we're sandwiched. Now, hold your breath. Crap. Let's wiggle this probe a little bit. What did we lose? Did it get broken somewhere else? Or am I not looking at the right wire? Oh no, there's another one down here. Well, that's extremely unfortunate. Oh, that's probably the very most inner portion of it, isn't it? Oh man, there's two wires coming out of there. We could do a Hail Mary with some solder. Just throw some solder at it. Was the other one 380 some ohms? It was, wasn't it? You know what? We're doing it. Why the heck not? Okay, I can see the two wires right there. Let's get them exposed a little more. I don't know if you can see a dang thing that's going on, but this is ridiculous. We're gonna leave this tail out here. You should see my head right now. I'm looking right down my nose for absolutely no reason. Okay, let's just lay that right there. I may or may not have sanded down the tip of my soldering iron for this special occasion, so we can get right in there where we need to. Kind of melting that plastic out of the way as we go, because it's in the way, dang it. I don't have my hopes super high on this one. Yeah, didn't think so. Alright, I'm going to play a little bit. I'll see you in a sec. So I'd like to show you guys something. So I did what I have newly dubbed as the blob technique. So what you do is you take your soldering iron and you just keep adding more and more solder to it until you have a large blob on it. You take the other side and you drip an unnecessarily large amount of flux into where you want to solder. And then you take your blob and you slowly feed it down into your area to be soldered. And the blob detaches, and the hope is that it will solder what you want it to solder. Well, in our case, ladies and gentlemen, we have successfully soldered our wires back together, and we now have 374 ohms of resistance, which I believe is what the other one had as well. Let's go get it. Okay, let's touch the other coil and cross our fingers it's somewhat close. 342, 380. Oh, dang, that is close. I'm so excited. I know it's not going to last. I'm going to order another one in the meantime, but this is awesome. Now what we need to do is listen to that little dude honk his horn and solder that little copper hair onto that little post right there. There she is, folks. Final product. Isn't it gorgeous? I ended up just jumping the solder from our bulbous to our terminal there, and we still have the ohmage that we're looking for, or at least relatively close to the ohmage that we're looking for. There we go, 374. So now I'm going to take some electrical tape, wrap it up like crazy, and then we'll put it back in there and see if any excitement happens. I'm trying not to keep my hopes too high because, well, I mean, you've seen what this looks like. So, something I just noticed. Look at how, let me get a pointer. Look at how the black and red wire goes through this clamp and attaches here. Do you think it matters that the other one wasn't that way? The other one was soldered right here. I wonder if this and this are part of the same thing, and the black plastic is like a holder for them. Interesting. I'm going to use some of this Moto seal. One of my best good buddies gave me a Kawasaki F7. 2 of them, actually, with one good engine that was in pieces. And I was very ambitious in thinking that I could reassemble it and get it going. Definitely didn't happen, and I gave it away. Just like he gave it to me. So anyway, long story short, I bought this to seal the case that I never got to sealing. We're going to use it to... Is this still good? I bought it like 5 years ago, if not more. And this will help us to seal up everything so we can not worry about water intrusion. And maybe it'll help these wires from vibrating into tons of little pieces. Sorry, got focused. Forgot to put it in focus. And I did also find out by ohming this out. This is in fact the same as that. So we're good to go. I have a feeling I'm going to do all of this and then it's not going to work. But you know what? It's fun to try. Okay, folks, here we go. We're soldered back in. So now what we're going to do is verify our red and black wire. So, red and black. Boop. All the way through the system, over to here, that's slightly covered in gray. And 365 ohms. Not bad. Will it do anything? That is the ultimate question. And that is something we're going to try next. You guys ready? I'm not freaking out. You're freaking out. Oh, yes! Oh, what a great day. Even though there's endless amounts of traffic, what a great day. Is anybody else excited? Oh man, I am beaming on the inside. Even if this only lasts, you know, a couple of days, couple of trips, whatever, it was still fun to do, still fun to try. Next step, let's see if this thing pops, but I have to save that for a little while because I have some responsibilities to take care of. So, I'll see you in a little bit. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's do this. Choke. Kill switch disengaged. Ignition. Let's do this. Still forgot to turn the fuel on. Smell of victory. Maybe we got oil all over the floor. Might as well add some rubber to it. It stinks in here. Oh man, what a good day. This stuff's been sitting in there for probably a good 40 minutes or so. It's probably hardened up by now. It was already getting a nice crust on it. Welcome back, folks. It's a new and exciting day. You know what we have to do today, right? Now that the beauty is running again? I mean, we have to try, right? I mean, why not? We're all not tired of circuits and wiring and diagnosing electrical stuff at all, right? Yeah. Okay, well, let's give it a whirl. So I used my brain a little bit, and I looked at the other capacitor, because I was concerned about the markings on this guy. Like the arrows with the line versus nothing. And according to this one, which is slightly bent, the arrows with the line correspond to the section of the circle that has a grid. So this little guy used to go on just like so. I feel like we have a better chance with this board because the leftover little contacts on this capacitor are longer. So we might have a better chance of getting it to go back into its home. I wonder if we can just heat up the solder on the bottom and this will kind of sink right in. I'm not good with small stuff, so we'll try and see if I can avoid completely melting it. I'll take a little bit of flux so we can conduct our heat and melt not only the contact but the board surrounding it. That was a joke. That's not something you really want to do. But I'm hoping we can just kind of heat up the solder and then the old pin will push out and the new pin or existing pin will kind of just slide on through. Okay, well the old one's out. This is a very awkward position. It went through. Yep, it went through. It's in there. Let's try the other one. Yep, it's through. Not great. Still a little wiggly. Let's see if we can just keep melting this thing. Hot. Stinking hot. That was not smart. It's, yeah, I mean, it feels pretty good. Let's go plug it into the stinking Jeep and see if it works. And by Jeep, I meant four-wheeler. Okay, power on. All right, hopefully it doesn't explode. Nope. Still cranks. I think she bit the dust for good. That was worth a fun little try though, huh? Wonder if this will start. We can try to fix the other one, see if that one works. That one sunk. Wow, it's in there. Not super well, but it's in there. All right, power on. And nothing, again. Huh. Let's hit lock just for kicks and see if it prevents it from starting. Nope. Not at all. Well, I thought that was it. You know, maybe something else happened that caused both of these to just pop their capacitors off. I mean, this looks like corrosion garbage. This looks pretty bad here. It's all corroded. This one has a smoky spot right here, along with some other corroded areas. I think they're just shot. If I had to guess, I would say they're shot. Surprise, surprise, they don't work. Oh well, it was fun to try. All right, folks, here we are, back for another super exciting day on these four-wheelers. So I've been sitting here listening to other YouTubers, going through probably about, I don't know, 30 zip ties, putting all the harness back to where it's supposed to be. Put these super sweet, ultra high-tech devices over top of the caps that are supposed to be threaded in there, but obviously have vibrated out. And the magnetos are sealed to a more, sealed to a more safe state than they were before. We've got a lot of low tire issues. I'm going to take care of that next. And then it's probably going to be time for a ride. Funny story, I was looking at the headlights that weren't working, and the bulbs are good. But on the one that was dead on this machine, a bunch of plastic fell out. So that harness is broken. And when I did the same thing on that machine, a bunch of plastic fell out of that one too. So yet another failure mode for these machines. Apparently the light harnesses don't work that well. Yeah, you can see the plastic is all broken out of there. We're going to go ahead and take a drive, and we'll use the headlamp on my gourd. These tires are rated for 24 PSI max, so I put all of them at about 18. I think that's a good number, don't you? Yeah, I thought you'd agree. And go. Choke. Turn you off. Try again. Oh yeah. She's a runner. go this way. I call this the Mossy Road. And the Mossy Road is gone. Oh no, where are we going? Oh, we're gonna go this way. Hey, look, we cut down stuff there. How far should we go? You know what? Let's do a half loop. So much vibration. The neighbors are chasing us, but it's okay. Hill climb. Oh yeah, success. Love you. Oh, what a great ride. Smells like hot rubber. Is that a good thing? Why do I see smoke? Okay, well, you know what we have to do now. And now we got to take out Miss Pinky. I swapped gas caps. Oh, geez, my whole body feels like it's vibrating still. It's really a weird sensation. My hand and my legs feel like they're in an ultrasonic cleaner. I switched caps because this one actually has a vent on it, so I didn't get sprayed with fuel, because I'm wearing my somewhat going to town pants right now. Oh, hey, check that out. You ready? I'm ready. Ignish. And go. Let's do it. Oh no, what happened? Did we throw the belt? Oh no. Okay. You want to help me do itchies?
Out.
Oh, okay.
Please,
all right, it's time to go in.
Wait.
Oh, there we go. What a helper. Itchy helpers. Oh, best day ever. All right, folks. Well, it's the next day, and I'd call it a success because we figured out the problem with the one that had a problem at the time, and I'd call it a whoops because we now have a new problem. Well, I'm 6'1", 210, 215, depends on the day. Is that whatever? And I've ridden both of these lots of times, and the pink one got more attention last year than the red one because the red one wouldn't start. So I don't know. I initially thought that the Pinky had a belt, and that's what drove it, like a CVT, if you want to call it that. We always called it a clutch, like a snowmobile setup, right? But I don't think so. That cover is filled with oil, so I'm guessing it's a wet clutch. So something broke. And it's not good. But now we have something else to play with. Anyway, my gigantic forehead and myself, thank you for coming along for the ride. We'll see you again next time, right here on the Tractor Fella channel. Forehead.